Let's talk about the authoritarian paradox. I want to zoom out here a little bit from the chaos of the daily news and talk about a pattern and then talk about how significant this is in the world of authoritarianism. What we are watching right now in the Trump administration feels shocking in real time. It feels unprecedented. It feels chaotic. It feels unique. The ICE stuff, the deportations, the incompetence, the threats, the blanket tariffs that make no sense, all of it, stuff, all of it, the adversarial attitude towards a free press, all of the above. Okay. It all feels unprecedented, chaotic, and unique. And in a sense, it is. But if you look at political history and political science, this is actually the predictable way this was ultimately going to go. And based on that, we can probably predict how it's going to end. Let me explain what I mean. There is something called the authoritarian paradox. You have these strong men figures who run on the promise that only they can fix the system. And Trump did it not metaphorically. Trump literally said, I'm the only person who can fix this stuff. I'm the only one who can fix trade. I'm the only one who can replace Obamacare with a big, beautiful replacement and all of this stuff. They are the only ones strong enough. They are the only ones who can effectively cut through the bureaucracy, fire the weaklings, and finally come in and impose order. And the exact traits that make some of these people, like Trump, popular candidates, are the traits that make them terrible at their jobs. Let me explain what that means. They promise strength, but what they deliver is disorder that has to be managed. Authoritarians sell a brand, and the brand is, I'm going to dominate, I will be decisive, I will be in control. Democracy is sometimes too slow. I might have to go around it. Institutions can be messy. Experts aren't really experts, or they're too cautious, or they move too slowly. So they say the singular will of one authoritarian is much better than this democracy, deliberating, arguing back and forth. And that kind of branding hides two lethal problems that ultimately come back and destroy the authoritarians. Number one is incompetence. When the primary metric is loyalty, which it is to Trump, it was in the first term, but even more so in the second term, you start purging the people who understand how the system works, and you replace them with people who tell you what you want to hear. Sound familiar? You end up with a government staffed by yes men and yes women who have no clue how to run a government. That's problem number one. Problem number two that inevitably comes up is infighting. In an authoritarian system, everyone knows that power comes from personal favor, not from performance. Am I impressing and pacifying the dear leader? And the incentive becomes not to make the system work, not to do stuff that's good for the average person. It's we've got to sabotage our rivals. We've got to leak against each other if it'll allow us to get an attaboy from Trump. We need to prove our loyalty in increasingly extreme ways. That's how you get people like Stephen Miller, who has accomplished nothing, but he's constantly praising Trump. He's still going on Fox News defending every last harebrained, disgusting, dilapidated, and disorienting notion from Donald Trump. And so he gets rewarded by proximity to Trump, and he gets to travel on the plane and go with Trump. So if we look at history, and there are experts in this, people like Ruth Ben-Ghiat and Jason Stanley and others, you look at historical dictatorships and authoritarian regimes, and you see overlapping agencies, competing power centers, paranoid purges, reminds me of Doge, reshuffling constantly of your staff. Oh, Alina Habba is going to be state attorney. Now she's a counselor to the president. Now she's this, now she's that. And then what ends up happening is the dysfunction grows in the system because a functioning system would limit the personal control of the dear leader. And the dysfunction ends up eating the regime from the inside. You start getting institutional decay. We've got it. Look at DOJ. Look at the FBI under Kash Patel. Look at Health and Human Services under Bobby. Look at the wrestling lady controlling the Department of Education. So the professionals leave, the institutions decay under the leadership of clowns. Actual experts say, there's really no room for me here. I guess I'm going to quit, or sometimes they get fired. And so you end up not even with a B team. You end up with like the people that dropped out already years ago or something like that. The cronies, the ideologues, the people who could not get hired in anything like these positions anywhere else. That then leads, and this is what's starting, to the circular firing squad. Everybody's leaking, everybody's backstabbing, maneuvering, not because they care about, we got to get the right policy and let me figure out how to do it. They're doing all of it because their own survival depends on being seen as the most loyal. I am the most loyal to Donald Trump. And that's the feedback loop that will destroy reality. In authoritarian systems, truth becomes disloyalty. You told the truth, you mean you weren't loyal to me. If a staffer says this is an illegal policy, sir, this is unconstitutional, this will fail. Oh, you're part of the deep state? What, are you part of the conspiracy that's trying to bring me down? And so they get removed. And what's left is a vacuum. The talent is gone. Honest information is gone. Law and order is gone. The strong man doesn't get stronger over the long term. The strong man gets isolated, and the strong man gets misinformed even by the people around him and is increasingly detached from reality. This is what is happening to Trump. Everything around him gets disrupted, including his own ability to govern. So when you see the Trump administration struggling to do basic things, and you see the chaos and the infighting and the leaks and the policy incoherence, it's the inevitable conclusion of authoritarianism. Authoritarian leadership always looks like this once the governing starts, because they don't know how to govern. They promise iron-fisted control, and they deliver authoritarianism with a completely dysfunctional framework and scaffolding. And then in come the sycophants and the rivals, and they promise order, but all you get is disorder. We've seen this movie end before around the world. The hope is that it ends with Trump likewise, but not with unnecessary death and suffering, which, by the way, we're already seeing too much of today. Thanks for watching. Check out this other video. And if you like our content, make sure to subscribe so YouTube puts our videos in your feed, and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple.